This video provides you with the opportunity to practice more with percentages and conversions. First, let's take a few moments to understand the meaning of the word percent. This word comes from the phrase per centum, meaning per 100. And please remember that per indicates division. And it is often used to express a number as a fraction of 100. We often use percentages in our everyday lives, such as when we are calculating a tip, determining relative change, or finding a new value from a percent increase or a percent decrease. And to understand numbers, it is often helpful to convert to different forms. So our first focus will be on converting a percent to a number. Two common ways that we could handle this task is to divide our number by 100. So for example, 23% is equivalent to 23 divided by 100. And when we perform this division, that is equal to 0.23. Another way is to move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So for example, 6.5%, it may be helpful to place a 0 to the left of the 6. So 6.5% is equivalent to 6.5%. And then moving our decimal point 2 places to the left, that shows us that this is equivalent to 0.065. Percentages can be more than 100% or more than the whole. For example, 123% is equivalent to 123 divided by 100, which is equal to 1.23. And the 1 indicates that we have 100% of an entire amount plus a partial or 23% of that amount. 223% is equivalent to 223 divided by 100, which is equal to 2.23. And the first 2 indicates that we have 200% of an entire amount, or 2 whole amounts, plus 23% of that amount. Next, let's look at converting a number to a percent. And in order to convert a number to a percent, we could multiply that number by 100. So 2, as we just saw, means 2 of a whole thing. And 2 times 100% means we have 200%, 2 whole. We could also move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So 0.65 is equivalent to 65%. And finally, we could rewrite as a fraction and then multiply by 100%. So 0.65 is equivalent to 65 divided by 100, and 65 divided by 100 times 100% is equivalent to 65%. And then finally, if we look at something that is more than 1, so for example, 1.357, the 1 all the way to the left indicates that we have a whole amount. The numbers after the decimal point indicate a partial amount. Notice also that the 3 is in the tenths place, the 5 is in the hundredths place, and the 7 is in the thousands place, which is why this is equivalent to 1,357 divided by 1,000, because the 7 is in the thousands place. To convert that fraction to a percentage, we would multiply by 100%, and that shows us that it is more than 100%. It is 135.7%. And final conversion we're going to focus on is a fraction to a percent. So in order to convert a fraction to a percent, we could perform the division and then convert to a percent. For example, 23 divided by 125 is equivalent to 0.184. And 0.184, notice again the 4 is in the thousandths place, so that is equivalent to 184 divided by 1,000. And to convert to a percent, we can multiply that by 100%, which gives us 18.4%. And looking back at the first line, notice we have 0.184. And a technique that we've talked about in terms of converting a decimal to a percent is to move the decimal point 2 places to the right, which again leads us to the 18.4%. And the last activity before you practice some more on your own is using a percentage to find a sale price. This is something that often happens in our everyday lives. So, for example, the original price of a pair of sneakers is $70. These sneakers are on sale for 25% off the original price, and you are asked to find the sale price. One thing that you could do is convert 25% into either a fraction or a decimal. So 25% is equal to 25 divided by 100, which reduces to 1 divided by 4 and is also equivalent to 0.25. 1/4 of $70 is equal to $70 divided by 4, which is equivalent to $17.50. But this is the discount, and you were asked to find the sale price. So we need to take that discount and subtract it from the original price. And $70 minus $17.50 gives us our sale price of $52.50. There is an alternate method for finding the sale price, and it comes from the fact that we need to notice we used $70 twice. We found 25% of $70, and then we used that to subtract from the original price of $70. So notice that the sale price is 25% off of the original price, which means you're actually paying 75% of the original price because 100% minus 25% gives us 75%. Looking at this as an equation, we have our starting price, our original price of $70, minus the percent off of this $70. So that's 25% of $70. And this is equivalent to 100% of the $70 minus 25% of the $70, which gives us 75% of the $70 for our sale price of $52.50.